So let the light for the wonders of all people. So let us all begin. We know that nothing will. But I shall hold it in. Say loud as you can. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy I don't trust the woman at all. When I told my
two 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 two. It's me. Job done. I think we're all right, Pete.
there are three mischievous people I don't trust well. One is the milkman. One is the young man. But most of all, I don't trust the woman at all. When I told my wife
Yeah, 1, 2. You're listening to Portobello Radio, coming live and direct from the Muse Gallery.
I love you. You're mental.
Let me just get everyone's names up. Francesca Morago and John Corbin. Right, great. What's she called? Namor Shamshoon. Right. We might have quite a short intro, and we'll use. Maybe I'll put. Okay, hold on a second.
I haven't picked it up, but it's lovely to hear that she was on my case. So we might get her back in again if she's back into the mood of doing this shit again. That's a total sideline before I forget. Pray quand vous voulez.
You want to just go?
Sure. Have you got a sting on you?
Am I up?
You are.
Okay, for some reason you're not on quite yet, so don't worry about it. Yep, got a sting. All right, come on, we're 8 minutes late. Let's go, bang, 8 minutes late.
Right, okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who do we appreciate? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Portobello Radio.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome aboard, indeed.
Yeah, welcome aboard, everybody.
Yeah, man.
Is that me crackly or is that
No,
my
just get on with it.
headphones?
It's my fault.
Welcome to the Portobello Radio Show. You're listening to us on www.portobelloradio.com. We have been going for 8 years.
8 whole years, man.
8 whole
Whoa.
years. Well, this show has. So thank you so much to all of you for listening. You're listening right now to me, Piers Thompson.
And indeed me, Greg Weir, and Lady Isis has just walked through the door.
I'm no lady.
You are, darling.
I'm a woman.
You are a woman.
Yes, but
you
I'm
are
here.
a
She's a
woman.
woman.
Brilliant. Thank you for everybody joining us. Thank you
We've
for everybody in
got
the room.
a jam-packed show.
Not ours.
We have When Everyone Talks at Once from the Playground Theatre. We've got Francesca and John in the room right now. We've got Namor Shamshoon, who's a British Moroccan poet, who's coming in a
Amazing.
minute to talk to us.
Brilliant.
We have Karen Owen from K2K,
No way.
which is where we started.
Wicked.
And we have Simon David, the performance poet, who's right here next week, live.
You're having a giraffe.
Now it doesn't make much sense. There ought to be a law against anyone who takes offense at a day in your celebration. 'Cause we all know in our minds that there ought to be a time that we can set aside to show just how much we love you. And I'm sure you would agree, what could fit more perfectly than to have a world party on the day you came to be. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I just never understood how a man who died for good could not have a day that would. He said had so long ago that lives in all of the hearts of people. Believe in you. We'll make the dream become a reality. I know we will, because our hearts tell us so.
Yeah, that of course is Stevie Wonder. Happy birthday. If anyone needs something to watch on TV, there is an amazing documentary when Motown came to the UK, set in about 1965, when they all came and played actually to half-empty houses, but Stevie Wonder was magnificent. That tune, of course, Isis, was written for Martin Luther King's birthday. And I think it's from the Hotter Than July tour.
Yeah, and they have the MLK Day every year in the States.
That's right, which just came by.
And of course, Martin Luther King, I think it's really important to note, has been very co-opted by white liberals, and this idea that he was all about peace and love, and I have a dream of white people and black people. Actually, he was very political, and he was actually talking about withdrawing troops from Vietnam. I think it was Vietnam, not Korea.
No, it would have been
Vietnam. And he was talking
about not that old.
Economic disparities, anti-capitalist, and all the things that he spoke about being more revolutionary has been kind of pushed to the side, and all we hear about this nonsense about I have a dream about black and white children playing together. I think it's important that actually a lot of our revolutionaries, our African revolutionaries, when they speak about actually overthrowing white supremacy and white power systems, not there is such a thing as white supremacy, it's the notion of it. We have to remember that there's a lot of co-option by the neoliberal regime, as it were. So he was much more revolutionary and militant than he's played out. And now, he's hailed everywhere, but he was hated, despised, he was beaten and violated for being a militant African. So I think that it's important to tell the true story about MLK.
Indeed. So that one
Happy birthday.
That one was going out to anyone who's listening at Davos. Funny
Yes, Davos.
That was on the Hotter Than July album and came out, and they toured that, and the support was Gil Scott-Heron. And while Gil Scott-Heron was on stage, they found out that John Lennon had been shot. So we must be talking about December 1980.
Wow.
Yeah, a little fact.
You have got your little facts there, haven't you?
Yeah. Anyway, we're delighted to welcome to the show Francesca. Hi, Francesca.
Hello, hi. How are you?
Francesca Morago.
That's it, correct.
And John Corbin. Hi, John.
Hello there, you all right? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
8 years, there we go. First, you'll get that a lot today, I'm assuming.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are responsible for a play that's coming up in February at the Playground Theatre. It's called When Everyone Talks at Once. Francesca, tell us a little bit about it.
That's correct. The play sort of focuses on mental health and specifically male masculinity within sort of the male population. So the story is about a 23-year-old man on his journey with depression, and sort of when left untreated can sort of turn into the effects of committing suicide, unfortunately. It's based on real facts and real scientific research. So we hope that we can sort of spread the word about the play and help many, many people overcome this.
John, you wrote it. Does it have any personal resonance for you?
Yes, completely. Wow, I'm really loud, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yes. So essentially, when I was going through my struggles at first with depression, must have been 7 years ago now. Not quite 8, not quite as old as this station. I found myself being just more than anything just confused about what was going on. Like many men, aren't really equipped with the emotional capability of being able to deal with what's going on. So a way that I dealt with it, rather than going to therapy, because I wasn't interested in any of that. I decided to write my own diary or journal, and it kind of came into place that I decided to write a play to kind of understand it for myself. And through doing that, I showed it to a couple of people. I spoke to a couple of people about it, and it seemed to resonate with them as well. And it's kind of carried on from then, and we are here now.
Yeah. So tell us how the play works, because I mean, ladies and gentlemen out there, you know, this obviously sounds like a deep and dark subject, but you've still found a way of putting it on stage and enlightening people, and I hesitate to use the word entertain, but to bring something to them.
Entirely, yeah, and that's the beauty of theatre, I think. Something so abstract and so dark at points, you can have fun with it on stage, and you can not only educate and inform people, but you can have fun with it, because that's the thing. Depression is a real thing, and it's difficult to get. It's easy to get bogged down by it. A lot of the actual play is about. The human side of it. So it's about the fact there's comedy in it. There's getting to know people. There's very human emotions surrounding it as well, because that's the truth. It's the reality, really. It's not just one thing.
Yeah. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a live environment here at the Muse. So it's all going on. The market's out there. We're in here. We're talking.
I'm wondering what you'd really like. I was going to come back to you actually. What you wanted people to take away from your experience in terms of what's in the play, before we talk about how it actually works.
Informing and provoking discussion, if anything, particularly with men, specifically with men, because of the way a lot of men are brought up. They don't have, like I said, the skills to deal with a lot of mental health illnesses, let alone just depression, but anxiety and things like that. So putting it on a play and having people see it and connecting with people that way. Just provoking that kind of discussion, really, and also getting rid of that stigma that's still there. It's not as much of a stigma as it has been in the past, but it's still very much stigmatized more than a lot of other things. If someone in your family commits suicide, it's probably not talked about as much as almost any other form of death, and considering it's the biggest killer in men under the age of 40, that seems crazy to me.
Indeed. Francesca, were you about to give us an idea of what the play's like?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that it's quite an important way of trying to showcase this topic in a creative way, rather than sort of asking someone to sit down and talk to someone. It's kind of bringing people together, bringing the community together, and sort of engaging in this artistic way of understanding, where not everyone's alone in it. This is something that is happening, it is real, and it should be addressed.
You're in it as well as being the producer. What do you do in it?
So I play one of the subjects in it. So the way the play is made, it's sort of like a deconstructed play as such, right, John? It's kind of absurdist. So everyone comes into a controlled environment, almost like a psychological experiment, and they're all labelled as subjects. And those subjects are exploring depression, but in different emotional states. So I would say that I'm the acceptance one in all of the 5 subjects.
And what about so it's obviously a form of catharsis, writing something like that, your own personal journey. What about the idea of, or is it relevant, the idea that you can use arts as a form of healing, as opposed to the kind of the traditional medical hospitalization model?
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where it's always a combination of both for me. Art, in particular, for me, in this sense, and for a lot of other people, it's a way of stabling out, almost. It's a way of understanding. It's brilliant. It's been brilliant understanding other people, what other people go through, but also yourself. But it's never going to replace the medical aspect of it. Like, talking to a professional is always the thing you should do, no matter what, really. But especially with men, in terms of emotions, art is I think absolutely crucial in order to understand it. So you can't get help before you understand it, I suppose.
Yeah, and we'll come back in a minute and talk about some of the ways that people out there, if they're feeling any of these issues, can deal with it. I sound a bit BBC saying that, but it's important. Here is a song that almost got into the play. It's another song like Happy Birthday. I'm not sure we've ever played on Portobello Radio before. Mr. Blue Sky, what's that mean to you?
So, Mr. Blue Sky has a very, very important line in it. It's a very happy tune. We all know Mr. Blue Sky. But the line, "Where did we go wrong?" is repeated a lot in the chorus. And that was one thing that when I told my parents that I had thoughts and nearly committed suicide, that was the line that was repeated the most to me. And for a lot of people, because a lot of people blame themselves. And that line really resonates with me.
Yeah. All right. Great. Well, this is a happy tune. It's a guilty pleasure for almost all of us. ELO, Mr. Blue Sky.
Now it's time.
I just love. That set of cadences just blows my brain. That guy's a genius, an absolute genius. Brilliant.
Yeah, Jeff Wayne from the West Midlands.
You know that, absolute genius. Beautiful.
We are here at the Muse Gallery, and we are talking to Francesca and John, who are the producer and writer of When Everyone Talks at Once, which is coming up at the Playground. Francesca, when's it coming up at the Playground?
So it comes up soon, from the 8th to the 11th of February.
All right, so
Yeah.
a short run, so get your tickets.
Definitely.
We've talked quite deeply about men's mental health, but this is a play, so you're not going to turn up and be depressed for an hour and a half, are you?
I promise. I promise there is humour, there is lightheartedness, and in everything that's sad there has to be some sort of counter emotion, and there's a lot of kind of interesting humour in there, and a lot of uplift as well amongst these people, because they are real people, they do have real emotions, so it's not all sad, and you do sort of see the relationships that develop within the play between them and how they banter with each other, which is really nice, because they're all stuck in this place and they don't know how to come out of it, basically, as they're all in these emotional states. So it's quite funny to see the communication between all of them.
And I'm sure there's a lot of, what, if we're still allowed to say the word, gallows humour.
Yeah, there is, isn't there, John? Yes. You definitely wrote that in.
John, you wrote the play. You're not in it yourself. It must have been.
I am in it myself.
Oh, you
yeah,
are?
yes.
Oh, right, an actor.
I forget all the time.
How big is the cast?
So it's a cast of 5. It is 5, isn't it? I can
Yeah.
count. Cool. Yeah, so it's a cast of 5. The majority of the cast are on the stage all the time. It's only an hour and a half long, so it's not. That's including the interval. Yeah, that's including the interval as well. So it's short and sharp. And it is at points it's really fun. We've started rehearsals now. And it is very, very fun to be a part of, yeah.
And the Playground, it's a fabulous place up there on Latimer Road. Fabulous food. Actually, really well-priced drinks, I might say.
I haven't tried the food yet. I'm excited for the food now you said that.
And
yeah.
that is well-priced as well. A lot of great chefs have been up there. How do you get tickets?
So you can book via the Playground Theatre on their website. If you just click on When Everyone Talks at Once, you can book tickets. We do have a special show dedicated for the local community, for school groups. That is the 9th of February. It's the matinee show, and all tickets are £10 for that show.
What do you do on the website if you're going for that show?
So when you go onto the website, you just click the date that you wish to view the show. It does tell you that on the 9th all tickets are reduced. So if you just click the 9th at 3 p.m, you'll get the £10 tickets for the show. It also states on there that we have Q&As, special Q&As with all our charity partners. So When Everyone Talks at Once has paired with 4 charities. They're all kind of targeting mental health. There's Inner Allies, Calm Zone, which I'm sure most people have heard of. Men Speak, I'll go into it. And there's also The New Normal. So they're all great charities that deal with people in different ways and dealing with emotions in different ways.
Are they all dealing with particularly with depression, or all forms of mental?
All forms of mental health, yes. All forms of mental health. The New Normal they've actually started a group called TNN Boys Talk. So that's particularly targeted at men to sort of speak out, but they also have grief groups and sort of sexuality groups and things like that they sort of talk about different types of mental health, and so do Inner Allies as well, which is a great kind of and Men Speak. So there's so many great charities, and Calm Zone, so they're all doing great stuff to
Calm
help
Zone
us.
is part of Calm, isn't it?
Correct, exactly.
Who've been involved down at the Tabernacle for some time. That is fantastic. So that's how you buy a ticket. That's how you get. How do you get in touch with the charities? Are they on the web page for When Everyone Talks at Once?
So there are links on the booking link that you can just click and see exactly what all the charities do. We will also have a therapist that will be on the show for the Q&A on the panel that can speak to people medically about what they're going through as well. We'll also have 2 relaxed performances, which will be our matinee shows on the 9th and the 11th, so people can come in and out as they wish. They don't have to be in the space the whole time. So, and they can speak to a therapist if they do come out. If they do have a moment where they can't watch the play any longer, they can speak to someone. So Yeah, we hope that it can help as many people in the community as possible. So.
That's great. I mean, well done for writing the play. Well done for getting it on at a decent theatre. And, there's a lot of rubbish talked about community outreach, but those do sound like genuinely brilliant and valid attempts to reach the audience about whom the play has been written.
Well, that's the important thing, I think we feel. I mean, all of our profits will go to those charities. We don't make any money off of this at all. So, it's the same thing. If you're going to write something so that we feel is so important, it would be a waste of time putting it on in a vacuum and no one hears about it and it just kind of happens and that's the end of it. We really hope it makes a difference.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you so much for having us on.
And just a shout out, if you are from an African heritage community, there's also Black Thrive and Black Mental Health UK, which obviously are there specifically to meet the needs of people of African heritage. So just to add a couple more charities to the pot.
Yep, fantastic.
Thank you.
You'll know that on this show we've talked a number of times about people who have sadly passed. This week it was the turn of David Crosby. He was in the Birds, Turn, 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 which actually talks to the subject at hand.
Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
Yeah, that is Turn, Turn, Turn by the Byrds. And the Byrds, of course, was the band where David Crosby, later to be in Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Don't worry, we're just trying to run a live radio show here.
All the time. Love it. That was a great tune.
Yeah, the Byrds.
Why on a freezing day are the idiots going in and out of a building and leaving the door ajar? Close the door.
I don't know whether that's relevant to our listeners, but I like it.
It is relevant. When you're leaving a building,
Listeners,
entering a building,
are
and
you
it's freezing
cold out there?
Close
Are you
the
cold?
door.
Maybe it's cold inside. Anyway,
I
as
love
I
it.
was
Love
saying,
it. Wicked.
David Crosby was an original member of the Byrds. He
Yeah.
went on to join Crosby, Stills and Nash, and
yeah.
then Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Tambourine Man. Can you name
Well, that
any
was the
others?
Byrds.
Oh, well, that was the Birds. You're right. Yeah.
I was getting confused because when you said that, I immediately thought Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and then you said the Birds, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
everyone
so, yeah.
comes from somewhere.
They
Yeah,
do.
it's true.
They come
Actually.
somewhere and they go somewhere
Usually
else.
their mother,
Everyone
but hey.
comes from.
Usually.
Usually.
Anyway, we have a tiny bit of sad news today, which is that this morning, sometime at around 9:30, there was a terrible incident on St Helens Gardens, Bramley Road, and
Oh, sad.
the road's been closed off. It may have been open now. It was certainly closed when
It
I
was
was
closed
on
when
my way.
I was on my way up, and it was closed this morning when I was on my way
Anyway,
back.
someone's got badly hurt
Oh,
outside the St Helens supermarket. I was up there earlier. There was a police photographer. You know when they have the little
yellow markers on
the
the
little
pavement.
yellow
Yeah,
markers with
ouch.
numbers.
Well, it's a serious incident because the
Very.
whole road is closed right back from,
Oh.
Anyway, apparently whoever it was who is the victim is still alive. So I mean
Well,
that's
that's
a
great.
big plus.
And,
But
well,
anyway, no one's going to listen to us, but try and be nice to other people. It has caused traffic chaos all
Yeah.
round the neighbourhood, so I've been
Yeah.
unable to tell you whether our campaign to keep Lancaster Road free or people stopping
up their
outside
children,
the posh schools to pick up their kids, but as of last week, as you know, that was going quite well.
Yeah, no, it certainly was. Certainly was. Unlike Pembridge, you know, Pembridge Square up the top by Notting Hill Gate, that has now become the new congestion roadblock road because of posh schools. So yeah, I was cycling by there about an hour ago, and my goodness, it took me about 10 minutes to get down that one road, normally a 30-second ride. Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. People, if you want to drive tanks, then I suggest you donate them to the Ukraine, because that's what they're looking for. Big,
They are looking for a
stupid
few
cars.
Oh,
Thanks.
God, no, please. I mean, Americans spending so much money on Ukraine. I mean, it's disgusting. No,
Pretty gross, yeah.
please, no, don't. Just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. Don't donate them to the Ukraine. Just get rid of them.
Get rid of those tanks. Well,
Whatever.
here we are, a heartfelt cry for pacifism.
Yes.
Coming here from Portobello Radio on Portobello
And
Radio.
not just pacifism, but also environmental protection to combat the climate crisis. Because
Yes.
what you're talking about, Greg, is these big 4x4s
How much?
and
Yeah,
stuff. You know,
no.
it's not.
But also, how much Challenger tank? I mean, I know Challenger tanks are really old, and that's all we've got. They must use a lot of diesel.
Oh, they do.
Diesel's
They
very
do about
expensive
1.5
at the
miles
moment.
per gallon. You know.
I don't know
that.
if anyone
You know
saw Greta Thunberg being what would you say, mauled by a whole cabal of
Greta Thunberg.
Thunberg is apparently the way you pronounce it in,
Oh, really?
in Swedish, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Being mauled
Interesting.
by a whole kind of cabal of these journalists. This one little 19-year-old girl and all these men asking her stupid questions about because she's speaking, wasn't she, at the environmental...
At Davos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's all on the agenda. The climate crisis is on the agenda.
At Davos,
Yeah,
which
whose
is
agenda?
the home
That's
of
the question.
all
Whose
our
agenda?
satanic
Our agenda.
paedophile,
Well,
pizza-eating
really, who are we?
friends.
Oh, you mean...
And do we get a voice? No.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't eat pizzas.
Brilliant.
We're delighted that our next guest, named Mark Shamshun, is in the house. So, Isis, you were going to play a tune, and then we're going to talk to Neymar.
Okay, so I was going to play a tune, and then I kind of lost it. But I thought, as you were doing the birthday stuff, I wanted to also mention that today, of course, the 20th of January, is the birthday, 50 years ago, actually, Amel Cabal was...
Cabal?
yeah.
Not Cabal.
Amilcar Cabal. He was a freedom fighter from Guinea-Bissau, and he was it would have been his birthday. So happy birthday to him as well. There's an event happening today to celebrate his life. So I thought.
Where's that event?
Oh God, I don't know. I'll tell you after the song.
Yeah.
Let's play something positive.
Yay!
Whoa, what a night. What a night, what a night. Oh gosh, what a night. I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms, dancing to a reggae song. Feel good, feel good. I feel good, cause your perfume isn't loud, and only I can talk about. Feel good, feel good. You feel like velvet rubbing over my skin, and when your hair dances under my chin, I wish we were alone, baby, just the two of us. Yes, every move you make gives me a rush. Whoa, oh. Wine some more and show me that love unconditionally. Make believe we're alone, just you and me. Take the problems, leave them behind. Don't let it show. Go, baby, go, baby, go, baby, go, baby, go. I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms, dancing to a reggae song. Feel good, feel good. I feel good, cause your perfume isn't loud, that only I can talk about. Feel good, feel good. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, what a vibe. What a vibe, what a vibe. What a night. What a night, what a night, yes. What a night. Oh, yeah. I'd love to wipe the sweat off of your face, but it looks so good I might have to replace. This moment is magic, so I leave it alone until you say, honey, time to go home. Oh, oh, oh. Wine some more and show me that love unconditionally. Make believe we're alone, just you and me. Take the problems, leave them behind. Don't let it show. Go, baby, go, baby, go, baby, go, baby, go. I feel good when I'm wrapped up in your arms, dancing to a reggae song. Feel good, feel good. I feel good, cause your perfume isn't loud, that only I can talk about. Feel good, yes. Oh, what a night, yes. What a sweet, sweet night, full of vibes. Oh, what a night, what a night, yes. What a night, yeah.
So what was that?
Yeah, that was, of course, that was Beres Hammond, the wonderful tones of Beres Hammond with I Feel Good. So I just want to apologize, listeners. I got that completely wrong. Yeah, for fake news. I am the purveyor of fake news. Amilcar Cabral was actually assassinated. He was a revolutionary leader, and he was actually assassinated on the 20th of January. He was born on the 12th of December. So I do apologize. So it was September, so it was an assassination. So the event is to commemorate his life, and it's on the day he was assassinated, not the day he was born. So luckily I didn't play a happy birthday song, eh?
Yeah. Where's the event?
I can't find it. You'll have to go online and Google it and see. It's. I don't even know if it's happening in the UK. It might actually be happening outside the UK.
Anyway, doesn't sound like it's happening in Nottingham.
It's not happening locally, so we don't need to know.
We are delighted to welcome our next guest, Naima Shamshoon. Have I got it right?
Yes, you have Naima Shamshoon.
Naima Shamshoon. Naima, you are a local woman.
Yes, I am.
And you are a poet, and you've just been published. That's brilliant.
Absolutely. I'm sort of pinching myself, but yeah, it was wonderful.
Your book of poetry, which is it the Micah Press?
Micah Press.
Micah Press published it. It's called COVID, The Wordy Wilds of a Mind Under Lockdown. Does it do what it says on the tin?
I think so. I tried to capture the experience of lockdown, and it explores themes like mental health, duality, identity, and sort of touches on a few world events that were happening at the time as well.
Yeah. So, if I went on your social media, we got in touch via social media. I went on social media. It's important to you that you're a British Moroccan woman from this neighbourhood. Is that an important part of the identity that comes through in your poems?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's definitely, I suppose, COVID through a British Moroccan perspective, if you will. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this area, we have a huge and wonderful Moroccan community.
Yeah. As we saw during the World Cup.
It was fantastic.
If you didn't know before, you certainly did after the World Cup. What's it mean to be a British Moroccan woman? Because, according to a lot of the stereotypes, you maybe shouldn't be writing poetry, or, people have a kind of a blinkered view of many British people of Arabic extraction.
What is to be a Moroccan woman? I think, for me personally, I certainly embrace a lot of the beautiful sort of aspects of Moroccan culture, but then again, there are certainly other aspects of Moroccan culture which I found very oppressive growing up as a woman.
Mm-hmm. Which was up kind of Goulburn Way, or?
Well, I grew up on Lancaster West Estate.
Right.
My teenage years were on
end.
Lancaster West Estate. I lived below Grenfell Towers for 23 years, so yeah.
All right. In the finger blocks?
On the walkways, Hurstway Walk, I was, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And as a Moroccan, do you also identify, because this is something that comes up, more as an African or more from somebody as, obviously Arabic is one of the languages spoken in Morocco, so often we talk about, I know there's no such thing as an Arabic people, but an Arabic speaking culture.
Yeah, I think, Moroccan culture is North African, but it has an Arabesque culture to it. The language itself is not Arabic, it's Darija, which is kind of like a hodgepodge, if you will, of Amazi, which is the indigenous language, and French and Spanish and Arabic. So it's kind of a mixed bag of everything.
Okay, so it's not, okay, yeah.
It's not pure Arabic, yeah.
I thought I knew quite a lot about it. I didn't know that before.
No, I thought it was like a Moroccan Arabic, which,
Yeah.
like you have Iraqi Arabic or whatever. I didn't realise. Interesting.
So tell us, we're going to ask you in a moment to maybe read one of your poems, but tell us what you were trying to do when you published this book. Obviously, the headline is COVID, it's the first word in the title, but it also expresses elements of identity, confusion, searching.
Yeah, things like also mental health, which we saw an increase in during lockdown, and I think that's certainly one of the things that I explored, because for myself, I've suffered with anxiety and depression myself, and then during lockdown, which was absolutely chaotic because I was locked in the house with two angsty teenagers, and then my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, which was quite difficult to cope with, and then I went into menopause just to top it all off, so
nice.
If that wasn't crazy enough. I think for me, I just started writing as kind of therapeutic, really. It was either that or end up killing one of my children, so I think that seemed like the safer option.
Yes. Would you like to read
Yeah, it'd
one
be
of your
great to hear
poems?
something from you.
Thank you, yeah, sure.
Do you want me to hold the mic for you?
Easier, thank you. Okay. Limbo. Africa calling, a convoy in the shadows, constant and ever present, a home, but not a home, anointing my edges, still I fit nowhere. Here, my name is foreign, my appearance questioned, but where are you from, originally? Probes Goldilocks, cornfields in her hair. I have reconciled with the damp, dark streets, pierced by dimples of obtrusive light, artificial light illuminating an artificial pond, the dry wit and caustic humour, the sarcasm, the armour we wear, the sleazy, sullied snickers of bawdry backstreet jokes, the women who reject gazing at the floor, audaciously holding his stare, the jangle of frenetic city life, the busy lives of others filtering into our busy breaths, in the darkened alcoves and desolate cubicles of existence, Sartre echoed, "You are in bad company." The clattering coffee shops amid sips of acrid Arabica, the inane monologues on current affairs, clandestine consultations, a temporary respite, soaked in caffeine and butter pastries. London calling, cosmopolitan and enthralling. It is the home of a lodger, the key to the kingdom presenting the illusion of belonging without belonging, the solitude as natural as blinking. There, my name is familiar, my appearance fusing with the dry alleyways and whitewashed facades facing off a fierce sun, in the hodgepodge pavement cafes, where once Ginsberg and Jean Genet supped on mint tea, where tolerance is privately practiced, but never publicly preached. The lamb and cumin infused air that coils and slithers before reclining across your skin like an impermeable veil. The language of my ancestors, tinged with my Britishness. My speech fluent, yet betraying, as wide-eyed locals chuckle like a pacifying parent. You're not from here, are you? In the Medinas, the night sky turns down the heat as families parade in their best attire. Sunflower seeds whose saltiness fizzes on the tongue. Sugar-roasted peanuts washed down with canary iced lemonade. The men who gawk belligerently, their eyes betraying the indignity of a shameless woman who refuses to look away. The crested clay tagines joyously bubbling away, terracotta fat jolly uncles, the enticing wisps of flavour, the fragrance of l'enfance, the Gnawa drum beats, a throbbing pulse, dancing, chanting, healing, a portal to the beloved on the wings of a trance, a cultural hub that captivates and offends, a shared identity, an organic pond rich with community, kindness, support, love. To serve is to be with Allah, the allotted roles deeming marriage and its fruits the paragon of ambition, gender hindered, scornful eyes from the arbiters of decency as I light my cigarette. I am without decency and without God, casting off the shackles of both, the dogma of belief or illusion, in the clutches of tradition, bleeding bequeathed injury, spurred on by my scars. You're not from here, are you? The cross of the diaspora, life's longing for the other, each suit offering some comfort, but ill-fitting nonetheless. Thank you.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That is absolutely beautiful. I love the twists and turns of that. There's a line that comes up a number of times that you're not from here, are you?
Yeah.
Which, obviously in the poem crops up in London and crops up in Morocco as well. That sounds... it was a beautiful poem. That that also sounds like a terrible torment in some ways, the way you.
I think
put it in
I
there.
think it is one of the things that I've noticed myself, but I've also sort of in conversations with other people from diaspora communities, they've said the same thing. It's just the thing where you kind of connect with both cultures, but you don't feel completely accepted by either.
Yeah. I was looking to you there, Isis.
No, I feel like an African. I mean, I wasn't born here, so it's slightly different for me.
Yeah.
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, so this is where I live, but it's not my country. I don't feel that this is...
Do you feel at home in Trini?
Yeah. I feel at home in London. Like, London is my city, but England is not. I'm a migrant. I came here to take your jobs and your houses, people.
Yeah. And our women. That's a beautiful bit of work. I mean, I find it difficult to believe that you only.
I know,
started,
and the way you read it is so fun. I mean, it's so beautifully read.
Thank you.
What? That's quite. I don't know anything about poetry, but that seems to me quite technically brilliantly written, as well as everything else. Do you have any, inspirations, influences? Do you have any mentors in the world of spoken word?
Gosh, in the world of spoken word, I mean, there are so many amazing poets. I mean, there's one poet that I often come across called, R.S. Poet, and he is absolutely amazing, and he really touches on some really hard-hitting topics. And, I think, sometimes these topics also speak to me as well. I mean, it's like after, the tragedy of Grenfell, I mean, I was inspired by just that kind of cloak of sadness every time I went into my old neighbourhood. And, that was a piece that the BBC Radio London shared, was the Grenfell piece. So I think, it's various things, I think, in the area or in my life, or personal or external. I think sometimes it just takes a certain thing and you think, you know what, I need to sort of get this down on paper because I'm just so overwhelmed by the emotion that it's incited in me.
Is there a theme in your poetry, or was the theme that you were locked down and it's the COVID thing, or is there some things that reoccur in your work?
I think certainly probably female empowerment is a theme that I would say reoccurs in my work. I mean, so, as I said, my own upbringing was very rigid. My parents were Muslim, and as a girl, I mean, my life was constantly kept up tabs on. You had to go to school, you had to come straight home, you weren't allowed to socialise, you weren't allowed to have a life outside of the home, And I think just recently I was at a hospital appointment and I was speaking to a girl about my own experience as a girl who was forced into an arranged marriage at 17. And the nurse I was speaking to actually said to me at the time, she was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I've had the same experience recently with my family where they've tried to force me into a marriage. And I think just for me, it was just so shocking to believe that, for me, that was in the 80s when I had that experience. But in 2023, to believe that this practice is still happening and girls are still being pressured into situations that they don't really want.
Wow. No, I mean, that does seem crazy.
It's an interesting one, though. I sometimes think, I often say in my community, sometimes I feel like we ought to have arranged marriages, because I worry about the sorts of people that the young women of African heritage are mixing themselves up with. So, like, can you choose so I have two daughters, can you choose the kind of man that you want for your daughters? But then, like you say, being forced into marriage is just a very oppressive, but at the same time, I sometimes think, do they choose right when they, so I don't know.
You're a complex woman,
yeah,
Isis.
I kind of wonder though. I mean, there are marriages that do work. I mean, I think where people are forced into it, but I do think the system can work. And then I see marriages that don't work where they're by choice, and I kind of wonder, is there a kind of in between? I don't know.
I think there has to be kind of a common ground, doesn't there? I mean, with my own marriage, my partner was from another culture, and I was from a different culture, and I think we just sort of locked heads from day one, where I refused to conform to the kind of role that he wanted me to play. Yeah.
Naimel, thank you so much. Did you mention a Grenfell poem?
Yes, I did.
Before you go, can we ask you to read that? As obviously, I asked because I got from the library, actually, people, use your library or lose your library. I just got the Peter Apps book called Show Me the Bodies, How We Let Grenfell Happen. And I really urge you all to go to your local library and get that book, or even buy it if you've got some spare cash. It is a brilliantly written.
It's been highly recommended.
It's brilliantly written. It almost reads like a thriller, and you get one chapter about what happened on the night, then you get a chapter about the catalogue of complicity, incompetence, casual behaviour, neglect, and so on and so forth on the next chapter. Peter Apps, Show Me the Bodies. Anyway, sorry, that was a quick advert for another book, because we're going to...
Quick promo.
Neymar, can you read us your Grenfell poem?
Sure.
Before you read this, read this and then tell us how we can buy the book.
Okay. The Hood in Notting Hill. Heading for a fall where advancement has stalled. Funding has been cut. The youth clubs are shut. The citadel ablaze with money saved. Warnings in the ash. Pulling against the tide of statistical projection. Genteel gentrification. A hotbed of crime. Here's a dime. Call someone who cares. Switchboards drowning in calls. Praying for it all. If you can't run, crawl. Never mind where you start. 800k before a fall. Charred bricks with green hearts. The neglected track holding you back. Don't fall through the cracks as you salute those who broke through, paying tribute to the faces we knew, remembering the time we almost had it all. The suits in the gallery roar, another shot to soar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neymar. Tell us one more time, your book is called?
The book is called COVID, The Wordy Wilds of a Mind Under Lockdown by N. Shamshoon, and is available to buy at Micah Press, Waterstones, Barnes & Noble, and any good poetry retailers.
Fantastic. Are they in Lutchens and Rubenstein down there on Kensington Park Road? You should go down there and make sure they get copies of that.
Certainly will.
Yeah. And Rough Trade are good for selling books. Thank you, Neymar.
Thank
you
you
for coming in. Thank you for getting in touch with us. That was two
fantastic.
Really fantastic poems.
So I'm going to play a track now.
Thank you for having me.
That's been requested by an artist that Piers loves, and also because I messed up with Amilcar Cabal's birthday, mixing it up with his assassination. So let's hear a little Tracy Chapman one. I'm sure you remember this one.
Don't you know, we're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. Don't you know, we're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. While they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution. It sounds whisper. Poor people gonna rise up and get their share. Poor people gonna rise up and take what's theirs. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, I said you better run, 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 run. 'Cause finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. Yes, finally are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution, oh no. Talking about a revolution, oh, while they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. And finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution. Yes, finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution, oh no. Talking about a revolution, oh no. Talking about a revolution, oh no.
That is
All the revolutionaries out there.
that is Tracy Chapman. Big up there to ISIS.
Yeah, Tracy's and Tanya's and what was the other one? Tracy, Tanya, and Joe.
Cannot.
Joe, Tracy, or Tanya?
So ISIS, are you you're going on? You're on your way in a minute. We're going to lose you, even though it's our birthday party.
Well, basically, UN's work. Oh, that sounds a little bit echoey, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
The
think there
UN's
was-
working group of experts on people of African descent is visiting the UK and the occupied north of Ireland this week. And so they are here to hear submissions from African heritage people about the conditions for us, the institutional systemic racism that we face on a daily basis in this country. And so there was an event in Grenfell, near Grenfell, at the Isaac Paulus Centre, which I didn't even know existed, which is part of the school. What's that school around the corner from you? The Catholic one, St.
St Charles's?
No, the school, right under the tower. Not Avondale, the other one, the primary school. Anyway,
St Francis is
yes,
down there on
St.
the top of
Francis,
Pottery Lane.
Is that St. Francis? I'm trying to remember the name of the school, but basically there was a little boy, Eritrean boy.
St Clement and St James.
No, it's not that one. Called Isaac Paulus, who died in the fire, and his school, they built a new centre and they've named it in his honour. So we had the first meeting of the group there to talk about the ramifications of institutional racism and Grenfell. So that was very interesting. And today there is a meeting that I'm heading up to at Goldsmiths University. And tomorrow, which is the big one, so if you are a person of African heritage, if you are an African with a K, African heritage person, please do get along to the symposium that's happening tomorrow. It's at 4 o'clock till, I think, 4 till 9. It's an all-day thing. And it's happening at the University of West London, St Mary's Road, London W5 5RF. And it's going to be in the Western Hall. So we want to hear from everyone, African heritage people in the UK, about your experiences of the systemically, institutionally racist country that this is. So please get along, make sure your voices are heard, because the UN, though they don't have the power to change British law, what they can do is they can shame this country. They can produce a report and shame this country so that it has to face up to its racism. And that's important because, England likes to herald itself as a wonderfully diverse, beautiful country. But as we've seen, even just with Harry and Meghan, there's a lot of racism going on. So, get down to Ealing, go online, you can sign up and get a ticket and come along and give us your feedback. Thank you.
I have to say, as an Irish citizen, I have to take issue with your occupied part of Northern Ireland being occupied. You've got to remember.
Well, I'm coming. Okay, I'm not
You've got
Irish.
to remember that 0 people in either the north or the south really want to be unified because of the issues
historic.
Because the issues it's going to cause with things like the health service and so
well,
on
I mean,
and
I
so
don't know.
forth.
I can only come from
I
can only come from an Irish Republican
you must
perspective.
also go back to the people that live there in the land, and those people that live in Northern Ireland actually want to be part of the United Kingdom. They want to be Protestant.
But you don't know. Do you want to know why they want to be
part?
There's one reason.
So people that live in another country want. So if we as Africans in the UK said we wanted our own part of England, that'd be fine. Yeah, we can have our own county.
It's
So
simpler.
other people can be in another people's country, like the white towns in South Africa that Africans are not allowed to go into.
No,
Yeah, well.
it's simpler than that.
Yeah.
Is it?
No one in Northern Ireland wants to join the South because they'd have to pay for their doctor's appointments. That's essentially the issue. And no one in the South wants to get involved in the North because they want things like abortions. They're just, it's the...
I don't know. I mean,
quite different
perhaps
cultures.
at the end of the day, I'm not Irish. I can only go from my comrades who are part of the Irish Republican movement, which I've always supported, and I've been heavily aligned in solidarity with Irish Republicans, and that's not their opinion is the country's occupied. So I'm only going to go by what they say. I'm not Irish. So
most of those people are in America.
Well, the ones that I know that are in Ireland,
I'm Irish.
but the ones that I know that are in Ireland have a very different, very opposed view to your own. But like I say, it's not for me to say. That's just what I'm told, and I'm feeding back what I'm told.
Well, anyway, as you know, every opinion expressed on Portobello Radio is a personal opinion, and we take no responsibility for anything.
No, we don't.
A bit like Instagram or
It's not us.
Facebook,
It's not us. It's
Twitter.
not us.
Oh.
You know, so if you suddenly find Andrew Tate on Portobello Radio, it's not our fault.
It's not our fault. No, absolutely. And maybe this is one of the reasons why we've managed to keep on going when all of our lovely competitors are falling by the wayside as a radio platform, is because we give everybody a voice.
Oh, it could be fun though to have Andrew Tate here. We could batter him.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a few women,
we're gonna
bring
break
Andrew
him out of
Tate
jail.
in,
We're
get a
gonna
load of
break him
women, and
out
just
of
kick the
jail.
shit out of him live.
I'm
I think
quite
that'd be
pleased I turned up
wonderful.
at this moment of the show.
That would be fun.
Anyway, you're listening, we're talking, you're listening to Portobello Radio, coming live from the Muse in the middle of the 2023 residency show.
Amazing.
None of the residents have turned up either last week or this week, but I'm sure we're going to get them on one day. We've been going for 8 years, and in a minute we're going to get Karen on. Karen Owen from K2K, who was here. Yeah, she's here. Because as many of you know,
we're always ready for you, baby.
we haven't always been a station. We used to just be a show.
A radio show
We
on
were a
the
show
most amazing
on
K2K platform.
And K2K have celebrated 10 years recently, so
That's
they're
incredible.
like our big brother
And we
or
like it.
sister.
Or cousin or whatever. Yeah, man, they've nurtured and grown us, which is
Oh,
fantastic.
right.
We are so chuffed to be part
We
of their
are
family.
so chuffed.
Yeah.
I mean, what we have done on occasions is play the very first show of Portobello Radio, but
that's
in
boring.
fact,
We've done that a few times now.
it's about a minute and a half of the clangers, and we suddenly realise halfway through.
Anyway,
Karen, please come and sit down.
Karen, take a seat. Brilliant.
We
Absolutely
will
brilliant.
play a tune. I've just managed to plug myself in.
Go for it.
This is a Capleton, Wings of the Morning, featuring Method Man, which I pulled off one of our fabulous DJs, Charlie Forbes, Mixcloud, just up there. Your
He's good,
regular
man.
dose of
I knew it couldn't be yours.
rhythm and blues.
To be praised till I shall every good time. I said, you shall execute judgment and justice, and none shall escape the mercy. What me say? Till I see I leave it every night. What me say? Boy, you could have put on the wings of the morning and fly. There is no escape from things till I see I flying on the uttermost spot. What you say? There is no escape from His Majesty. A long time me I tell you about the dirty slavery. A long time me I tell you about the brutality. A long time me I tell you about the hypocrisy. No, I know about Asian monarchy. No, I know all about the black liberty. No, I know all about the equality. No, I know all about Marcus Garvey. We beg you, all we love His Majesty. Selassie I, so let it be. Selassie I, for all the Trinity. X amount of nation bow down upon them knee. No stop from beg and then no stop from plead. And nowhere to run and there is oh boy. Put on the wings of the morning and fly. There is no escape from King Selassie I. Flying with the uttermost spot for the state. There is no escape from His Majesty.
Here come that rude boy. Criminology legit, legalized dope to get me mega rich. Selassie I. We can all get by if we unify. Getting chinky eye off the stimuli, blaze in the gut, and all that good stuff. 6 feet walk with a strut on these New York streets like baby what? Anything can happen, it usually does. I'm from Staten to Allen. Beat me on G Street, the galleon. Every real ain't nothing funky. Counterfeit rapper, half a bungee. He's in it for the monties, M-O-N-E-Y. But you can't take it with you when you die. Salafi high.
The wings take them for exit. Can no antichrist renowned by worship. I said life for the righteous, but the wicked have to perish. With them religion and them old politics. Have the people them a turn and have the people them a twist. Now show them no love and hatred them cherish. Give them some 16 and some rusty matty. Have them a hold up them finger and a push up them feet. Lead the street them astray, you must get punished. Can't escape your judgment, stand up boy, boy. Put on the wings in the morning and fly. There is no escape from King Selassie. Flying on the earth and must part to the sea. There is no escape from His Majesty. So and one of this day, when you hear a voice say come, then where you gonna run to? Oh, I say they gonna run to the rock and mountain, but they will be no rock, no rock. They're gonna run to the rocks and mountain, but they will be no rock. So where we say
Wu-Tang Clan in the area, Cable 10 in the area. We got Shaolin in the area. Big up yourself, black man, my brothers. Hell is the plan for the other. Discover, discover, discover. Come on, come on. New lands for you, man, and your family. Reminisce on back in the days. Can it be? It was all so simple then. We all kin and black skin. Original Don set the trend. Let's be men, if not for us, then for the babies, the little ones. The revolution has now begun.
put on the wings in the morning and fly. There is no escape from King Selassie.
Now, everybody, get in where you fit in. For 9-5 to 9 nickel, cold as an icicle. Method man, Cable 10, representing dynamic duo on the track.
That is Capleton, Wings of the Morning, featuring Method Man. And someone's remix of that. Anyway, we are delighted to welcome Karen Owen. Hi, Karen.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, really well.
Indeed. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Can you put Gregsy up? Because he's...
Number 3.
Oh, you're up. Oh, great.
You're up.
Karen.
Indeed. Happy Friday.
You were
Happy afternoon.
You were one of the founders of K2K.
I am.
Kilburn's Kensal. Oh, you are one of the founders of Kilburn's Kensal, which started around about 10 years ago.
It did, indeed. It started in 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
11 years ago, in fact.
Yeah.
And we started on K2K in 2015, in January. It was... you had a studio, you still do have a studio up there in the South Kilburn estate.
Yeah.
Fabulous setup.
Indeed.
You let us in 2015.
Yeah.
Tell us what it was like when you started, over 10 years ago, a community radio station here in West London. A lot of people here think Maida Vale, Kilburn is a very posh area, but there are parts that aren't as smart as the others. What was it like setting up K2K back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, just a bit of background on that. I mean, we were based in South Kilburn, still there, and at the time I was running a project called South Kilburn Studios, which was an amazing space in a kind of disused porter cabin, like quite a big space. It was meant to be a meanwhile project for 6 months and ended up being about 5 years. But in the yeah, exactly. So I was running that project, and we wanted to find a way that there could be a legacy for that. It was always meant to be a project with a finite, not a forever project. But so Max Grave, my co-founder, came in one day looking for a studio for his business.
Yeah.
And Max sets up radio stations across the world.
Doesn't he?
For
he's
a living.
Big in Africa.
Yeah, he's
really
brilliant.
I'm kind of disappointed that Auntie Isis has gone because there's a few tales that she.
Oh, absolutely.
With the African connection there.
Yeah, Max is good value on all of that. He's
Superb.
actually on his way to Mozambique, I think,
Excellent.
as we
There you
speak,
go. I rest my
to
case.
do something.
Brilliant.
So he walked in one day looking for a space for his business, and I said, well, how about we give you a space, but we set up a radio station? You know, I'd had that vision.
Nice idea.
As a legacy project for South Kilburn Studios, and as something that would support people in different ways, really more of a community engagement project, something that, not your standard community. There's so many different versions of community radio that you can get, but it was a project to really help people get involved in whatever way they wanted to, whether that was behind the scenes or whatever they wanted to bring.
Yeah.
And as you say, we let anyone in.
Yeah, you're
including us.
I mean, you're in a way, K2K is much more kind of open mic than we are. You know, we're control freaks here at Portobello Radio.
Yeah.
But you have an amazing mix of shows and genres, and the way you work means that they kind of go over different times of the day.
Definitely.
I mean, we came in, we started doing lunchtimes on a Friday, 1 to 3, and we met your fabulous studio manager, Joe
DiSeppo, who's an amazing character, wicked musician, and a brilliant mender of instruments. My goodness, she's an absolute star.
Yeah.
How do you feel that K2K's developed over those years? I mean, I know that Robin Katz, for instance, the reggae DJ, who was one of your, he was definitely there when we started.
Yeah, he's one of the originals.
He's still going up there,
he did one of our first shows, and you know, I think from the very beginning it was about really building community within the presenters, and we would give anyone the space if they were up for it, for having a show. Then we'd be like, yeah, go for it.
Why not?
You know, find your studio manager. And initially it was that we would be live Monday to Friday in the evenings, and then it started kind of seeping out. As you said, you guys came in and did the Friday afternoon, and it was very much about it being open to all, whoever kind of showed up with whatever background or whatever kind of knowledge they had or not. We'd be up for giving them a go, and you know, not kind of
even Chris Sullivan and myself. I did play one of those tunes we played in that very first show
ever.
We haven't played it for a while. It's Sir Walter, who's been warming my oven. Then we're going to come back and talk a bit more about K2K.
Amazing.
Now who's been warming my oven since I've been gone? I know you've been cooking. When I get home, it's still warm. Now patty cake, baker's man. The groundhog's gonna be your mailman. Who's been warming my oven since I've been gone? I wanna know now. Pastries you never tasted is always tempting, but it looks the same to a woman as it does a man. And while I was out cooking in some other man's spot, somebody was at home keeping my water hot. Who's been warming my oven since I've been gone? I wanna know now. Now who's been warming my oven since I've been gone? I've been gone. And while I was out hitting on a new shake and bake, somebody was at home eating the icing off of my cake. Now who's been warming my oven since I've been gone? I wanna know now, baby. Now who's been warming my oven since I've been gone, baby? I know you've been giving it away, baby. Who's been warming my oven since I've been gone, baby? I know you've been giving it away, baby. Who's been warming my oven since I've been gone, baby? I wanna know now, baby, who's been warming my oven since I've been gone, baby? I wanna know now, baby. Who's been warming my oven since I've been gone, baby? I wanna know now, baby. Who's been warming my oven since I've been gone, baby? I wanna know.
Yeah, that is Who's Been Warming My Oven by Sir Walter. One of the tunes from the very first episodes, in fact, the very first episode of Portobello Radio Show, which started as a show, not a station, on K2K. We've got Karen from K2K.
The show has always been confusingly called the Portobello Radio Show.
Right.
On Portobello Radio. So
Yeah.
people often go to us, what's the name of your show? They say, the Portobello Radio Show. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a confusion, but we wouldn't change the name because that name is integrally locked into the K2K days.
I mean, it's amazing that's where it came from.
Absolutely.
You know, but it was his birthplace. Did you intend that?
Not at all.
It just evolved
No,
from
it
there.
was Chris who sort of got in contact with Max and you, and you gave him a little slot. He then went on holiday and called Piers in.
No, it's not really true.
No, all right.
No.
And then you two both decided to go off on holiday together.
I got hold of Gemma and
Was it?
arranged for it because
Gemma
Chris was
Dempsey,
on Soho Radio.
Ah, okay.
And then Chris and I started the show. We started the show in about January, and it was just going to be two old blokes playing funk music.
Yeah.
And then famously in February, I think it was, 2015, the Westway Trust came in and talked about destroying the area, just literally 100 metres to the left of us.
Yeah, where we are now.
And suddenly we became a kind of campaigning organisation.
Yeah.
That was at no point was that any part of
The
our
vision.
vision.
No,
Yeah.
not
We
at
were
all.
just going to be two old boys chatting.
Not at all. Absolutely. I got involved because you two both went on holiday together and needed someone to keep the seat warm.
Right.
So that's what happened there. And then sort of, I don't know, whatever it was, 6 months into it, we're all outside the pub. And we thought,
I mean,
why don't we have a go at this radio lark, not realising quite how big a bite we'd taken out. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
Because it's
yeah.
massive. Running a radio platform is insanely massive.
Absolutely.
And occupies a huge amount of time. So I've got to doff my hat to you and Max for keeping it going for 11 years. That's
Well, it's not
insane,
me
man.
really. Maha, you know,
Yes.
Max and I was always that kind of fire starter energy. I was running a lot of big events in that area, Kilburn to Kensal. So, you know, I produced the Kilburn Festival. I would run things year round, different community building ways. And I always found it a challenge of how do I tell everyone in this area?
Yeah.
And then it felt like, you know, people always wanted to get involved in some way, and then it
course.
made sense that we created this kind of platform or project to engage people.
No, and you had a group of people that knew yourself, Max, Chris Jones, Gemma, all put their 10p's worth in at the
Definitely,
front
but that was
end.
a call out to the community, and Gemma and Chris, you know, put their hands up and got involved, and all sorts of amazing people who are still firm friends now and have gone on different paths.
Yeah.
Amazing, where they are now and how that, how that played a part in it.
Yeah,
What?
it's been a brilliant platform to launch other people's stuff. It's
Absolutely.
great, a real creative hotbed. that
Would
little
you
moment.
say that K2K has changed a lot,
Yeah.
or a little, or changed in character, or changed in values in the last 10 years?
I think it has definitely been on a journey. You know, at the start of most things, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of connections that are being built, and there was a real family feel to it. Everyone kind of felt part of it. There was a real heart to it, and that's kept going. But I think the lockdowns and pandemic really hit us hard because our building was shut, and we didn't have like a mobile studio. We were in a fixed place, and a lot of our presenters couldn't get access to do their shows, and that's what they were used to doing. And then our studio was flooded, and then we had to move into a temporary studio. So I think we've kind of taken a bit of a beating over the years, and I think that can really affect, can kind of take the wind out of it.
Of course.
And our station manager, Maha, has done an amazing job. She's been our station manager for the last 7 years, looking after it. And I'm interested to see. I feel like there's a bit of new energy around it now, a bit of a reinvention that's going to take place, and there's a lot of space for other people to get involved now, and a rethink on how we do that. And as you say, it's challenging running a platform. I'd love to have a drink with you sometime and see, what your lessons have been and what works for you guys. And,
we got scars. We got scars.
You got scars. Yeah. So
we're all scarred.
Particularly you.
Yeah, but when you're working collaboration, you've got a team and you're passionate about it and you're trying to do good in the process, you've got to expect to take a few knocks along the way.
Yeah, of course. No, let's definitely do that drink. Up for that.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
Karen, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to just quickly say, what's next on the big thing of K2K? Have you got anything in the pipeline? Have you got anything sort of evolving or about to happen, about to explode for 2023?
Definitely, I mean, behind the scenes, trying to just kind of put some systems in place so that more people can run a bit less without the stress.
Yeah.
So
good luck with
people
that.
chip in and do their bits, but it's stress. There's no stress.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a healthy amount of stress, but you don't want it to make you ill.
Ruin your life.
Do you?
Of course.
So, and engaging more presenters, wanting them, to fill our program out a bit more. And there was always in the evenings, we would have a flow of people who'd come in one after the other, whereas now it's a bit more, I'll do a show at this time, I'll do a show at that time. And it's nice to have that. Up next, this show's happening. And
brilliant.
You kind of create that community.
Continuity and
the old handovers.
The audience.
Yeah, the old handovers.
Yeah, the old handovers, absolutely.
It feels good, when that happens. So, we're doing a bit of a review with
beautiful.
With a view to kind of adding more energy and community and reconnecting it to how it begun, really.
Brilliant.
So for the next decade.
Brilliant.
Remind everyone how they can contact K2K.
Yeah, we're on
your
Insta,
Mixcloud and your.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are on Mixcloud. There's some great shows up there. You can find it all through the website, K2, the number 2, K, radio.
Lovely. Kilo number 2, kilo. Got
Kilo
you.
number
Kilo
2
kilo.
Brilliant. Brilliant. For all you drug dealers out there.
Such a military knobhead, mate.
Isn't it? I am a little bit NASA alphabet over here. Sorry.
Karen,
wonderful.
thank you for coming in. And when is your show on? Do you still do a show?
No, but that might be something that's coming.
Yeah.
So let's see. Watch this space.
Maybe we'll poach you.
Karen can maybe back.
Come on. Brilliant. Karen, thank you so much, man.
Thank
you so much
for
guys.
having us.
Giving us our
Congratulations on
boost.
congratulations
getting us up
on
and
8
running.
years. Thank you for having me.
You guys are amazing, absolutely amazing. Always massive love and respect to the K2K crew.
Yeah.
Please take that back to the guys and
I'll
report. Give
send them
Max
your
a
love.
massive hug from me and from
will
us.
do.
And we'll look forward to maybe speaking to you again, not necessarily on mic, maybe off mic. We have ourselves a little toast.
Having that drink.
A little drink. Love it.
Having a drink.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Yay!
As we mentioned last week, it's 50 years this year since Dark Side the Moon came out. We played you the Easy All Stars version of Breathe, I think, last week. Here's Any Colour You Like.
Lovely. Karen, K2K Radio. Yeah!
Right, that ended a bit quicker than I expected, but that is Any Colour You Like from Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Now, one of the things some of you older listeners, i.e. people who've been listening since we started, may remember, is one of the first stories that we reported on Portobello Radio was the one about the lady in Blenheim Crescent. Now, she had thrown an avocado stone out of her window. It had landed in her garden, and 26 years later, she had an avocado tree that had grown to the extent that it actually had edible avocados on it. Now, of course, in the way that things go in this area, it actually got gentrified because not long afterwards, someone else bought the house and cut down the avocado tree because they felt it was taking their light away. So we have one avocado tree to give away to the first person who gets in touch with us on any of our social media. It is, if you want to send us a message via WhatsApp, it's 07822 002 955. Get in touch with us via Facebook, Portobello Radio, Instagram, portobello.radio, or Twitter, Portobello Radio. The first person who wants it can have this avocado tree. And I have a message here from one of our gardening experts around here, Robert Perino. Robert is True Robert. He's gardener Herb Robert. He is the gardener at Lancaster West, and this is his advice if you should happen to claim the avocado tree.
Make sure when you dig a hole there's enough space, and make sure that you keep an eye on it and water on as well. And how about some really good mulch around the side? I suggest always some wood chip around it. Keep it well spaced from other trees, and just treat it like a child. Watch it grow, and it will, if you just keep mindful of it.
All right, well, obviously that didn't work as well as the WhatsApp messages did last week. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play that again, Gregsy, so you can stick it in later.
This is Robert Pereno, the gardener of Lancaster Estate. Now, if you have a tree, an avocado tree to plant, make sure there's enough light. Make sure when you dig a hole there's enough space. And make sure that you keep an eye on it and water on it as well. And how about some really good mulch around the side? I suggest always some wood chip around it. Keep it well spaced from other trees. And just treat it like a child. Watch it grow. And it will, if you just keep mindful of its growth.
Yes, that was take two. That was Robert, Herb Gardener, over there at Lancaster West. And Robert has offered, if anyone needs to have some advice, if they should claim the avocado tree, then all they should do is get in touch with him.
Excellent. Or what with us, and we'll pass on the message.
We will indeed.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Brilliant.
So we still have a couple of guests to come. We have the Lord Lightning, who's disappeared.
Lord of Lightning. He's outside having a little puff. So
and
we'll
we
drag
also
him in.
have Simon David, not obviously to be confused with David Simon.
Uh-huh.
Simon David, the performance poet, is coming on in
Brilliant.
a second to chat to us.
Superb.
Gregsy, how's your week been?
Well, it was my birthday yesterday. Yay! In case you didn't know. Happy birthday, Greg. Yeah, exactly. So, we had an absolute ball. Ended up in Clapham in the Railway Tavern, and I rekindled my love to South London. I was actually today down Railton Road. That was our front line down there in Brixton. Saying hello to a lot of old mates and people down there as well, which was fantastic. Railton Road to All Saints Road. You see, this is it. South London to West London. Front line to front line. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, no, I've had a ball. I've had an absolute ball. I've done about 20 miles. And then just literally 10 minutes ago, I went head over heels on my bike. So I'm a little bit crook. I'm not too sure what rib I've broken. But I implore people to keep their dogs on the lead and stop letting them run across roads, because that's a bit rubbish. But apart from that, it's been a great week. It's been fab, absolutely fab.
It's dogs seem to be in the news quite a lot at the moment. Obviously, there was that tragedy that happened. I can't quite remember where, but somewhere in the outskirts of London, where the woman who was walking dogs somehow got savaged by a pack of dogs.
Oh yeah.
I have to say it's a story I don't really quite understand.
Yeah, well, we don't want to cover it really. It's about walkers, dog walkers, who take out 1 million dogs at once. And sadly, one of the dogs or a couple of the dogs within the pack attacked the woman who was walking.
Oh
them.
right, it was her own dogs who attacked
her.
Well,
yeah, her own. She was just picking up neighbours' dogs and walking them for her.
I
think that was the story.
I couldn't quite follow.
That was the story.
But we've had quite a lot of sort of dog stories. There have been dog attacks down here on Tavistock Green, dog-on-dog attacks. There have been dog attacks up there on Wormwood Scrubs.
Up at the Little Scrubs, yes, indeed, yeah.
And it all seems to be turning a bit nasty with the dogs.
Oh,
it has to be said.
We love dogs. Don't get us wrong. We just think that we need to control them a little bit better, and we need to train them a little bit better. You know, when dogs are trained well, they are beautiful. They're the best creatures in the world.
Yeah. But there has been this massive increase in the number of dogs.
Since lockdown, everybody bought themselves a dog
there
in lockdown.
Were 9 million dogs in the UK.
Okay.
There are now 13 million dogs in the UK.
It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
I get the impression that a lot of people went out and bought dogs for lockdown and then decided that it was just for Christmas. And so now what they do is they've still got the dog because they can't.
They should rerun those ads.
But what they should rerun those ads. But what they're doing now is they're paying other people to look after their dogs, which has kind of grown a new industry. It's kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of feel sorry for the dogs. It's a bit like sending your children to boarding school.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Anyway, our advice out there to all dog owners is to watch some YouTube videos and generally get your dog to behave as well as possible.
They're beautiful creatures. They're amazing, absolutely amazing. I love them.
A lot of people will remember that last week we dedicated the show to Dolly Kane, Dolly Stallard.
What an amazing memorial show we did.
Passed on at the age of 97, I think it was.
Wow,
having done,
what an
we
amazing
worked out
innings. What
82 years on the market.
Incredible work.
We've had I went down there on Saturday. On Saturday, Dolly's old barrow was pulled out, put in her old slot. I think it was stall 86, opposite Poundland.
Beautiful.
There were great floral tributes.
Yeah.
Jackie and Emma, who was on the show last week. Jackie, her daughter, who was on the stall with Dolly towards the end. They were up there. The weather was terrible. It was still a great turnout of people.
Yeah, and I saw some brilliant photographs on social media. It looked really good.
I got
really
a picture with Bella from Devlin's, So that was
brilliant.
Can we let Stephen Howie in on the mic?
What did she sell?
She used to sell fruit and veg. She didn't sell everything, but what she sold was great. What I used to buy from her, I used to buy asparagus. I used to buy lemons.
She didn't sell cheese then?
Dolly, no.
No, okay. It's one of them. I got some wonderful truffle and infused brie from one of them.
Oh, no, you're thinking of Lisa and Ellis.
That was excellent.
Next door. They were next door.
Yeah. That was brilliant.
Anyway, Dolly's funeral is next Wednesday. For locals, the important bit is sometime around 20 to 12 on Wednesday morning. The hearse, which I imagine will be the horse-drawn one, is going to be going up the lane. It's going up St John's Church up there on the hill. And so if you want to pay your respects to Dolly, I would be out there on the lane around about 20 to 12 Wednesday morning. Clap her as she goes by. If you feel you know her well enough, the church is St John's.
That's the big one on the top of the hill there. Brilliant. Apologies if you heard me eating in the background there. It's funny, when I'm normally at the desk, I'm not on the desk at the moment, we have the most amazing Faye on the desk.
Yay!
But I often have to take the microphone down when members of the team are having a little munch in the background there, and we do, so I apologise if anybody got my nums going on in the background there.
Right.
Absolutely brilliant.
We
Better
may
than,
easily take that bit out for the
never know.
rewind. We had a fantastic story in last week from Charlotte in America, which because of my incompetence, we were unable to play. So here's one more story about Dolly.
Hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm Dolly's granddaughter. I live in California. My earliest memories of growing up were always in the market. My nan would see all these little kids walk past, and they would call her nan, and she'd give them a piece of fruit. I was really jealous at the time because that was my nan, but now I'm older, I see she was everybody's nan. She's going to be so missed. I love you so much, Nan.
Wow. Charlotte, thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't play it last week.
No, brilliant.
But we do
heartfelt
get
memories.
to play it this week. Just remember, people, if anyone else out there wants to send a shout out to their mates, happy birthday to us, for instance, or a request.
We haven't got any friends.
Or if you've got an event you're trying to publicise, you can get in touch with us. If you send us a voice message, we'll play it on the show.
We will,
via
absolutely.
WhatsApp 07822 002 955. We will
Wicked.
one day do a jingle for that.
We will. But we need people to make jingles. If
Yeah.
you like making jingles, then get in contact with Portobello Radio on
07822 002 955.
Brilliant.
You know, I'm going to play the next record because Maxi Jazz from
Well,
Faithless obviously left us.
he did, and I'll tell you a little story about him when we've listened to this beautiful song. God rest his gorgeous soul.
I'm going to use the intro to try and do a jingle with our telephone number.
I like it.
07822 002 955. Get in touch with us right here on Portobello Radio anytime, any issue. 07822 002 955. Yeah, Insomnia, Faithless, Rest in Eternal Peace, Maxi Jazz. All right, well, I was hoping our
Absolutely amazing.
I was hoping our next guest would be here right now.
Yeah.
Simon.
Can I tell you a little bit about my story with Maxi Jazz?
Yeah,
or not
go on.
really?
Yeah, go on.
Just while Simon gets all his paperwork together.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, back to my South London days again, back to the Noise Boys days. I used to have sound systems and worked a lot with a huge amount of different peeps. One of the lot that we used to work with was a crew called the Jazz Theatre Company. This would have been sort of early 90s, 91, 92. And the Jazz Theatre Company had a regular gig up on Brixton Hill, where they did poetry, theatre, mime, and music. And they were a bit more jazzy than that we've just heard. However, their lead guy was Maxi, an astounding, beautiful man with a huge amount of energy, far too much energy. And I had the pleasure of meeting him pretty much every week while I lent them my sound system to pull off their little gig in Brixton. And it was brilliant. That was superb. Overnight, he sort of picked up acclaim. We used to do gigs with them in what used to be called the Earth Club, which was the basement of the university at the top end of Great Portland Street. And if you know that, I can't remember what it's called nowadays, but man, those were fantastic days, and I loved hanging out with those characters. They were terrific, absolutely terrific. The Earth Brothers, which was sort of a spawn of that, ended up becoming a massive band, like a big band, and they played music at my brother's wedding down in Dorset. So there was lots of connections between us lot and the Jazz Theatre crew. So thank you to TOT Records, who I was working with at the time. Big up to Ray Cortez, God love him, who's still down there in Sydenham somewhere. Love you, bruv. And big up to the Jazz Theatre Company, and indeed, ultimately, big up to Rollo and Sister Bliss for taking on board the most incredible Maxi Jazz, who was taken from us far too early.
Thank you for that, Greg. Big shout out to Just Jenny, who has posted amazing poetry by Neymar Shamshoon. So that's
amazing.
what
Just
we
Jenny
thought.
again is another beautiful character. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for keeping it locked and following us on socials. We love you, babes.
Yeah, big up. We have our last guest. It is Simon David. Simon is here next Wednesday, the 25th.
Here in the Muse Gallery.
At 7:30. He's doing a performance called Beyond the Brink.
Sounds good.
Simon, do you want to pick up a mic and tell us what it's about? No, we won't give you a second. Simon and I met actually the night of the private view of the residents show that we are sitting amongst. In some ways, it's a good thing that none of the residents have shown up to be interviewed, because it's been quite a busy show, hasn't it?
Hasn't it, mate? Hasn't it? We potentially have one more guest on after this lovely young man as well, just to give him a quick shout about a gig that's going off, I think, in Camden. But let's talk to Simon just for 2 secs, if that's right. Yeah, you go for that one, the green one.
Simon, tell us about your show, Beyond the Brink, which is happening at the Muse Gallery on the 25th of January at 7:30.
Thank you very much, Piers and company. Yes, I'm actually going to read the little blurb on the actual Muse website, which is Beyond the Brink. An over-the-edge evening of poetry performed with a boundlessly borderless buoyancy. A lyrically limitless love of language lifts an elevated, eloquent vocabulary up to levels above an ear's expectations. Every vowel has verve with a swerve, every consonant nerve with a curve. Every sentence sensationally sounds bounds beyond. That's just a little blurb that the lovely Muse Gallery has put on their website.
Wow, sounds quite wordy rapping hood.
It does.
It is quite wordy. It is quite rappy.
Yeah, man.
So what's going to happen? You're going to be here, surrounded by this show, the residents show, and
yeah, it's really, really exciting.
Are you going to slam? Is that what you say in the world of poetry?
Well, it's kind of a nice sort of loose term there, Piers. No, lovely. I've been working with Damien actually and getting a really sort of collaborative feel to the show. So there's one of the residents who's not here, as we know, Christina. She's from the Ukraine. She's got a painting which I'm convinced I'm going to perch a couple of my wealthier patrons in front of to see if they'll purchase.
You never know your luck.
You never know your luck. You never know her luck. And also what I'm hoping is going to happen is that I'm going to do a improvised piece with her called Any Side, I guess if it's improvised, why do I have the title already? Piers is looking at me. but she's going to do a little bit.
Start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. But she's going to do some little Ukrainian language. I'm going to do a little bit of, local Portobello stuff. And I've also just started writing a piece called XRA, which is inspired by an audience member that I met at the same place I met Piers at the opening here last Thursday. It's called XRA. And I've got that. I'm going to give you a little sample of if there's time. If not, come to the show.
Stand for? Can I ask that one?
Well,
Extinction Rebellion Adolescence.
It's very good. I mean, actually, do you want to hear the beginning?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so basically this poem, XRA, was inspired with my moment here at the opening where I met a girl who actually had the initials right here at the Muse.
Yeah.
I met a young lady, a painter, by the way. I seems everyone is either a painter, a poet, or a perfectionist, or a Piers, as it appears. So this young lady gave me...
I've got too many words.
Tell me when to go quiet. So this young woman. Oh, by the way, can we swear on the radio?
Yes, please.
Oh yeah, great. Yes, please. So perfect. So a young lady gave me her initials, which were XRA, and then I wrote a piece called XRA. Was it a name? Was it a game? Is it something in brain or pill to kill pain? The latest pacemaker to help out heart, or title for this piece of art? Is it a code? Something to explode? An ingredient on a tin of beans, or in the DNA of one's genes? An Amazon-funded spaceship off to Mars, or a solar system beyond the stars? XRA, a rapper, the coordinates for disoriented mapper, a tattoo on the side of a slapper, yoga retreat mantra for a student on a gapper, lens on the camera of an amateur snapper, slogan for the service of a mystic mind tapper, an alias for an aspiring kidnapper, a terrorist cell's password, no knee slapper, tag on the nylons of a flamboyant flapper, last little line on a chocolate wrapper, a high-tech insect zapper, designer for Mr. Dapper. XRA was in fact the license plate of a xenophobic rich American's Rolls Royce, where rudely rich sits chauffeured around fuming about fucking foreigners, even though he's fucking one himself, with a few more on the shelf. That's wealth at its worst, particularly as made peddling arms to Putin's arsenal of sin, saturated. Hypocritically vile smiled as it appeared to be good as the gold in his fingers' fortunes. XRA, a billionaire branded navigational guide for his private jet's GPS, as off to a Michelin-rated, price-inflated restaurant in the center of Budapest, to dine upon cheese-smothered Xavier steak raw with asparagus on top, ordered simply by saying, XRA, right away. A fine life for some would say, not the waiter who wished Mr. XRA would exit right away, or simply put, XRA. Several months later, that same waiter took his life to London to live. On the second day there along Portobello Road, tagging graffiti on a wall was the loveliest, loneliest looking young lady, spray painting 3 blue letters that rang his bell, XRA. Asking why made both cry, as the paint had run out before the Y. An X-ray result had condemned her to die. Like the empty spray can on the ground, there was nothing left for that moment to do but lament language's cruelty through and through. Those 3 letters in sad in sequence would never be the same. No one to blame but own interpretation, of course, that meant XRA, spelt remorse.
Very good.
I mean, it's very kind. I mean, honest to goodness, it was inspired by a young lady painter here. I hope she comes to the show. Her name is XRA. That's all I know her as. But the whole thing that I get from Damien, who invited me into the Muse, is collaboration for the nation.
No. I'm bowled over by that wordy rapping hood.
Yeah,
it
man.
was fantastic.
Superb.
You've got a book as well, haven't you, Simon? Tell us about that.
You're very kind, Piers. I wish I had you for a promotion agent years ago. I'd probably be on the hills of Hollywood by now.
You probably would be.
Looking down on
You're right.
Looking down on everyone and up on Piers. And what's your name?
This is Greg's here. This is
Greg's
Faye.
here. You are the best. This is the best radio station I've ever been on in my life. My life. Oh, I might as well plug the radio station while I'm here as well. So, yeah, I've got a book called A Rainbow of Only One Hue by Simon David, edited by my lovely collaborator Vanessa Goodliff. It's published by Greenwich Exchange. I'm going to be selling it on the night, of course. One of my little trademarks as a poet is I only wear blue, do blue, write blue through and through. And actually, just a little giveaway, I'm starting the piece on my first evening of the night. I'm actually wearing a dress coming in off the door.
Love it.
And we're doing theatre in the round here. This is not a poetry show. It's actually a theatre show. There's no books in hand. There's no, it's all, I trained as an actor, so it's going to be absolutely alert and alive.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. I will bring the fire extinguisher.
Literally cannot wait. Thank you, Simon, so much for being on the show. We look forward to Beyond the Brink. Come down to the Tabernacle tomorrow afternoon, where we're having our 8th birthday, and maybe do some words
do something on the mic.
over someone's music, because we have DJs from 2. At 2 o'clock, we got...
Have you got me?
Yeah,
Ballers!
Gregsy. That's
Brilliant.
because I'm
Absolutely
watching
brilliant.
Liverpool-Chelsea, and I'm going to be a real disappointment to you tomorrow.
Okay, I'm going to be setting up on my own then.
No, just very early. At 3 o'clock, we've got DJ for Blue.
Amazing, brilliant.
She is also a Chelsea fan. In fact, she's a steward at Chelsea, so she may be a bit late as well.
She's full
at
on.
4,
Blue.
you've got me.
Yeah.
At 5, we have Darren Bennett with the legendary Eddie Pillar of now sadly defunct TWR, Totally Wired Radio.
But he's always got irons in fires, that
and
one.
you know
he's
what?
Brilliant.
TWR is coming back from the Phoenix from the Flames already. They did something, I think, last night.
Brilliant.
I don't know where from, but they're using Mixcloud. So don't worry. Community radio is alive and kicking.
It is.
6 o'clock is Miss Sarah Walcott.
Oh, yeah.
7 and 8 is going to be some kind of... Well, it's going to be you and me, and it's going to be people like Simon, maybe people like Neymar coming up.
Brilliant. So this is all on Saturday. So we're referring to it as tomorrow. If you're listening to this show on Saturday, because of course we repeat this show again on Sunday.
In a minute.
Today. Yeah, man, it's in a minute. Get yourselves down there. Tabernacle, Paris Square, W11.
If it's Sunday, you missed it.
If it's Sunday, then you have missed it. But you can come round and nurse my hangover.
Yeah, and also it will be repeated at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. The other big shows we have are we replaying the Alan McGee?
Oh yeah, on Sunday morning.
Records.
Yeah, Alan McGee from Creation Records indeed. Yeah, we had a fantastic chat. This was a couple of years ago with the most amazing Aidan McManus, and we ran that show on Wednesday night, just gone. And hell, we're going to run it again on Sunday morning as part of our Portobello Talk radio season. So that will come on at midday. And this show will be repeated at 10 a.m. on Monday morning. So there you go. And then, of course, you get all of us live at the Tabernacle. With
10 a.m. Sunday morning.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said Monday.
Wow, I'm weird.
Yeah.
All right, we'll deal with that in the edit. Lovely. Fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Look forward to catching up with you guys, hopefully in the flesh, on Saturday at Tabernacle West 11. Otherwise, just whenever you next tune in to us. And again, if you wanted to send us
Keep
any
it
little
locked.
messages.
Why not? Then you'll never miss any of this, because I know we were a bit discombobulated on that.
We're always discombobulated. There's no
And
difference in that.
next week, with the big news next week is that Bright Side of the Road.
Oh, yeah.
Our Irish show coming from the Irish Cultural Centre. It's going to be a cracking show next week. We're
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to that.
Back on Brendan Behan, Irish language. We have Andy Martin in the studio picking the best tunes for the people coming up down there.
Yeah.
But it's moving to Thursday.
Okay, that's the big news, is it's moving to Thursday. Every Thursday for this year, 2023. Every Thursday, once a month, is going to be live from the Irish Cultural Centre. It's going to be mental. It's going to be absolutely mental.
We're going to have a couple of little changes in the schedule. Drama coming in on a Wednesday night.
I think I've been sent a new
month.
advert, so maybe they've got Adrian Dunbar or someone beautiful like that to do a little sting.
No, it's we did that before. We've got William Foote.
Oh, beautiful.
The centre manager.
Oh, brilliant.
Blah, blah, blah. Thanks for listening. It's
absolutely
birthday.
amazing. Wonderful guest that we just had. Thank you very much indeed. Absolutely amazing.
You gentlemen are the best. And thank you for listening, everyone. And I've never felt so warm and welcome in my life.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Cozy, gooey, cozy. I love it. Absolutely love it. Check out this guy's show. It's going to be mental. It's going to be really mental. Superb. Thank you for tuning in and listening to Portobello Radio Show. Yay! 8 years. Big up. Join us at Tabernacle on Saturday the 21st. See you guys soon.
Ladbroke, Road's finest.
Radio Rock. Portobello Radio Rock. Portobello Radio Rock. Portobello Radio Rock.
I love Portobello Radio. Probably the best radio station in Ladbroke Grove.
Words in papers, words in books, words on TV, words for crooks, words of comfort, words of peace, words to make the fighting cease, words to tell you what to do, words are working hard for you, eat your words but don't go hungry. Words have always nearly hung me. Words of nuance, words of skill, and words of romance are a pill. Words are stupid, words are fun. Words can put you on the run. Mots pressés, mots sensés, mots qui disent la vérité. Mots maudits, mots mentis, mots qui manquent le fruit d'esprit. It's a rap race with a fast pace. Concrete words, abstract words, crazy words and lying words, hazy words and dying words, words of faith and tell me straight, rare words and swear words, good words and bad words. Words can make you pay and pay. Four-letter words I cannot say. Words are trouble, words are subtle. Words of anger, words of hate. Words over here, in the air and everywhere. Words of wisdom, words of strife. Words that write the book I like. Words will find the right solution to the planet Earth's pollution. Say the right word, make a million. Words are like a certain person. Can't say what they mean, don't mean what they say. With a rap here and rap there, here a rap there, rap everywhere, rap. Wrap it up for the common good. Let us enlist the neighborhood. It's okay. I've understood. This is a wordy rapping hood. Okay, bye.
PortobelloRadio.com. Tune in when you get a chance.
Thanks for listening to Saturday Sessions. Remember, you can find all our DJs on our Mixcloud. www.mixcloud.com/Portobello Radio. That's
Tune
not
in when
very
you
good.
can.
I like it when I sound like a robot. Yeah, you're listening to Portobello Radio, coming live from the midst of the Residents 2023 exhibition right here at the Muse. We'd like to say a big shout out to Remy, who's the new geezer on the video, because as you know, you can catch us on the Muse Film YouTube channel.
Yeah, man, indeed. Yeah, YouTube is exactly the word that we were looking for there. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You can catch us on YouTube if you look up Muse,
Is that a word,
M-U-S-E,
YouTube?
Film. Yeah, who knows? Whatever. We have the most incredible Lord of Lightning in the house. Now, we've had this beautiful young man on the show before.
And on the bus.
And on the bus. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and you've got a gig, baby.
Like I do. Hey, greetings to everybody. Spiritual, like vibrations and, a lot of incantations. Everything good happens to everybody. I wish this. But, yes, I have a concert at the Map Studio Cafe. It's in Kentish Town. In, in the hood.
What, in Kentish Town?
Yeah, Kentish Town.
NW5, people.
Yeah, it's at...
Where is it?
46 Grafton Road. And that's at 8 p.m.
And which day is that?
That's a Tuesday night. Yes.
Fantastic. Tuesday, that's when I used to do clubs. I love a club on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I had a club night on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
Wicked.
always the
Absolutely
best.
wicked. It was always the best. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You will be playing guitar.
Yes.
With a backing track, or is this you on your own?
No, this is me exactly with the band,
Oh, wow, you got the whole band down there. Brilliant.
It's an electric guitar, of course. That's my baby girl. Her name is Thunder Pussy. Wow, I'm telling you.
I love it.
Man.
I love it when you bring Thunder Pussy. It's brilliant.
She's the girl.
Brilliant. Yeah, she is the girl. You know that.
She's my girl.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So that's Tuesday, the 24th of January.
24th.
24th of January. Tuesday, the 24th of January from 8 p.m. onwards at a bar called...
The Map Studio Cafe.
The Map, M-A-P-P. Is that right?
That's right.
M-A-P-P Studio in Kentish Town. If you guys are North London bound, then check this guy out. He's amazing.
I just came from there.
Did you?
Kentish Town, yeah.
Ah, I thought you weren't much.
What's it like up there, man?
Yeah.
It's pretty much like here, really. They've got houses and people and cars. They've even got electricity now.
Do they have
I believe.
coffee shops?
They did. They had Norman's Cafe, which I went to.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So, yeah, check Lord of Lightning. Is that the name of the band, too?
That's me. That's me.
Sexified.
It's
Beautiful.
It's all about you.
Yeah, it's really sad that Jeff Beck passed away, huh?
Yeah.
Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
But I mean, we're pleased for you because when I met you, you just come to London and you came and played here and then on the Art Bus. And then we tried to get you gigs. And then I believe you met Vince Power, which is very helpful. And now I'm just glad that you've actually got some work.
Yeah, well, I'm still alive. I'm still, in the struggle trying to, make some ground, and to basically open up to some people's ears to what's going on musically,
Brilliant. You're going to open up ears with Pussy Thunder. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, I was amazed that when you went to see Vince, he actually remembered you from the last time you'd been in the UK and played Dingwalls or wherever it was.
Yeah, that was just something that, that's an omen. That's something good, something positive, That was a beautiful thing.
Vince Power started out as a second-hand shop on Kilburn High Road.
Oh,
and he handed that business over to his brother, and then he took on all the venues and
there you go.
festivals and everything. Yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We need to wind this show up. Lord of Lightning, thank you so much for coming on, darling. Wicked, get yourselves involved. Get yourself down to Kentish Town, the Map Studio, on Tuesday the 24th of Jan. Otherwise, see you guys at the Tabernacle 20th.